paraphrase a well-known saying about procrastination, the best time to start is yesterday and the second best time is now. The same is true with investing. Your biggest ally is compound interest, and the biggest multiplier of compound interest is time. The sooner you begin investing, the more time your money will have to work for you. Before we launch into this, I want to know, so comment down below what the best investment you ever made was. Brag about your huge win. Come on, let's hear it. Open to all kinds of cool investing. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. As always, Maestro, cue the intro. Even if you only have $10 a month to invest, and I bet you can scrounge more, you should start putting it to work immediately. Also, the earlier you begin investing, the faster you will learn the ropes. We learn best through action and teaching, so I highly suggest that you just pull the trigger in order to start learning more today. The more you learn and the more your money compounds, the harder your money will work for you. This compound effect of knowledge, interest, time, and capital will provide exponential returns for you. Literally. Why would you be okay with missing out on these powerful tools? Don't delay. Just start investing somewhere. Now, I know investing is risky. However, if you're fine with buying a $100 pair of shoes but not okay risking $100 in an investment, you really need to reprioritize your life. Don't make excuses and don't let fear hold you back. The faster you get started, the better. Just choose a simple, understandable investment. You need to decide on an investment strategy that suits your level of risk tolerance and automation preferences. But for the record, this chart does not depict my favorite investments, and I don't invest in a lot of these. These are simply examples of some low-risk investments as well as some higher-risk investment strategies. And don't get wrapped around the wheel on what strategies I put in what place. Just use this as a tool to visualize and determine which strategies you wish to utilize for investing, and this will help you understand the risk versus reward that you need to learn in your head. As you can see, investments run the gauntlet from high risk, high reward to low risk, low reward, and everywhere in between. You need to take some time and decide how risk averse you want to be with your investing portfolio. My advice is that you should be willing to take a decent amount of risk at an early age, especially if you have a solid career like the military, which will provide for all of your survival necessities, even if your investments completely fail. Real quick, smash that like button if you like earning money. And if you don't like earning money, then I don't know why you're watching a video about earning money. The safety net of a solid career means that you can take on more risky investments, knowing that your worst case scenario will still include provisions for housing, food, and necessities. Now, I'm not saying that you should just throw caution to the wind, but you can afford to have a riskier allocation in your thrift savings plan, or buy a rental with a lower initial down payment. Whatever your risk tolerance, you need to choose strategies that match it and then stick to those strategies. Don't turn this into a difficult situation, just match up an investment with your tolerance for risk and begin investing. All right, next you need to focus on paying yourself first. So the first place you need to allocate funds from your paycheck is your investments. If you utilize your budget and spend money all week planning to invest whatever is left over, you won't invest much or anything. Rather, you should allocate funds for your investments before you spend any money from your budget. That way you are guaranteed to have invested that money. Psychologically, it is much harder to justify buying a pair of Jordans when it means you won't have money for groceries than it is when you could invest a little less this month. Don't let consumer goods get in the way of your investing. Now, don't fall into this trap. Pay yourself first and always fund your investments before anything else in order to ensure that you don't cheat your future self out of a great retirement. Next, I want to talk about delayed gratification. In the 1960s, a Stanford professor named Walter Mischel began conducting an experiment where hundreds of children were brought into a room individually. The researcher told the children that he was going to leave the room and that if the child did not eat the marshmallow that was placed in front of him while he was away, they would be rewarded with a second marshmallow. However, if the child decided to eat the first one before the researcher came back, then they would not get a second marshmallow. So the choice was simple: one treat right now or two treats later. Now, the researcher left the room for 15 minutes, and when they came back, the children either earned a second marshmallow or they did not. Over the following decades, he stayed in touch with these children and found a remarkable correlation between delayed gratification and success. The children who were able to wait 15 minutes in order to receive the second marshmallow were much more successful, on average, in life. What does that mean for you? It means you need to be okay with not getting the shiny new thing right now because you'll get a lot more later. Delayed gratification is the ability to resist a small reward now in order to get much more of a reward down the road. For example, I sold my nice sports car, a S2000, last year, knowing that down the road I will be able to buy a nicer sports car. In the world of finance, delayed gratification appears as an opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the view that every dollar you spend today is a dollar plus interest that you will not have in 5, 10, or 15 years. For this reason, you owe it to yourself to cut expenses in order to invest even more money every month. Avoid the new iPhone, the J's, and the car so that you can retire literally years earlier. Your income may not be the greatest, but expenses are usually what holds us back from achieving our dreams. So manage your expenses first and invest every single penny that you can. Now, keep investing no matter what. Do not stop investing if you think the market's going to crash. Perhaps you adjust your strategy, but keep investing in something. Don't let the fear of what if stop you from investing. Set up automatic deposits if you need to, but never stop investing in your future. If the market tanks, it will rise again. Just stay the course. Next, you need to be able to understand changing your allocation with age. As we mentioned earlier, risk tolerance plays a role in your investment portfolio. As you get older and thus closer to retirement, you will want to adjust your portfolio to safer investments. That could look like moving money from your 90% stocks and 10% bonds to 90% bonds and 10% stocks over the years. Or it could look like moving your money from investing in Bitcoin to a high-interest savings account. Whatever you choose to invest in, be sure to protect yourself against the downside as you get closer to retirement. More risky to less risky. As we mentioned, as you get older, your risk tolerance should get less and less in order to protect yourself against a recession hitting right before you were planning to retire. Now, this may not be necessary if you have prepared well enough that you don't need the retirement account. However, for the vast majority of the population, shifting your allocations more and more toward low risk, low reward, safer investments will be the best strategy as you reach retirement age. There's a common adage in sales and management huddles that what gets measured gets managed. And that's why you need to be tracking your net worth regularly. If you pay attention to it and track it monthly, it will help you focus on investing and growing your net worth. Just as weighing yourself regularly will help you reach your desired weight, tracking your net worth monthly will help you attain your financial goals. Now, I don't think you need to track every investment monthly, but periodically for sure. I don't check the value of my 401k more than 4 times a year because I don't plan on adjusting my allocation anytime soon. Now, at the same time, I track and review the reports for my real estate investments every single month. My rule of thumb is that the more risky and involved an investment is, the more frequently you should be tracking it. Now, I alluded to this app earlier, but Personal Capital. I use Personal Capital to track both my net worth and my investments. Personal Capital is incredibly simple to set up, and it displays the value of every account I operate in one dashboard. This can be accessed from both a desktop and a simple application on your phone. This application allows me to track interest accrued, expenses, debt payoff, and my net worth anytime I want. Now, I've used Personal Capital for about 4 years now, and I can't think of an easier way to keep a thumb on the pulse of my investments than through this account. It doesn't cost anything to set up an account with Personal Capital, and I highly recommend that you at least give it a shot. So again, I'll put a link down below. Now that you understand the basics of getting started with investing, it is important that you just go start investing. Be sure to check out some of my other videos for more advanced tips and tricks for investing, but get out there and start. Just take action.